Yes, sir. Daryl D, welcome back. Yo, fresh back from New York. Go up there like every year, and I go to New York to basically indulge myself into like the music scene. Everything music, whether it's parties, whether it's clubs, live concerts, and on the top of the list, the park jams, the old school park jams. If it's music related in some way, shape, or fashion, I'm into it. Whether it's going and digging for albums, or if it's just going and just checking out the free events in the park and block parties and all of everything music related that I can possibly get involved with. That's what I'm up there doing. So me, being the big music lover as I am, you know what I mean. One of the things I do is I take, if I know that there's certain people in the music industry that I'm going to have contact with, I like taking their album covers and getting them signed, autograph, all of that stuff of people I really admire. So I just want to show you real quick some of the records that I got signed this summer, and a little bit about, you know, where I ran into these people or the parties I was at, this, that, and the other thing. So if you're into that kind of thing, then hang out with me and check out this video. All right, let's get started. There was you guys know about Breakbeat Lou, you know, the creator, co-creator of the Ultimate Beats and Breaks with Breakbeat Lenny. Well, those albums, Ultimate Beats and Breaks, if you know, you know. If you don't, go find out about it somewhere else. I don't have time to explain it. But for those who know, Anyway, Lou was celebrating the 40th year of the Ultimate Beats and Breaks LPs that he put out. 40 years, man. So he had a big concert in Central Park on Summer Stage, and wow, the show was absolutely explosive. Now, normally I would just bring records from home to get signed, but I didn't think, I've been to, you know, Central Park Summer Stage a number of times, and it's like a big stage, and you don't really have access to any other artists. So I didn't think I would end up having any type of access with anybody. Turns out that I wouldn't say I had access to everybody, but I did have access to some very major names in the game, and Lou was one of them. Anyway, I want to say like a day or two before that show, and just so you know, this was the lineup. It ended up well, obviously Lou DJ'd, and I think Brand Nubian performed, Nice and Smooth performed, Peter Guns, Laura Finesse was a co-host, and he also performed, not DJ, performed. Diamond D performed, Bush Babies performed, and there might be one other person that I don't recall that also performed. Anyway, it was an explosive concert. I haven't been to a concert like that where it was just all underground rap, big huge crowd, partying. It was incredible. Check this channel for footage of that show. I got a little bit of footage. But anyway, a couple days before that, I was digging for records, and I came across a cheaply priced Ultimate Beats and Breaks album, and it was like $5. Even though I had it already, I said, let me just buy it. So I just bought it, and I was like, I'll take it to the show just in case. Because at the last minute, I was like, yeah, maybe, because I took my mixtape book there to get some some signatures in there, and then I had a few records of people that I was just hoping that maybe I would run into. Anyway, so I get down there. A lot of people there I know, homies I'm hanging out with. And before the show even started, Lou was walking around, amongst the people. And I just caught him and asked him to sign this. And I've been around Lou a number of times over the years, and he's like stand-up dude. And I asked him to sign this, and he was gracious enough to sign it right there for me. And yeah, so I ended up getting Lou's autograph anyway. And the thing is, I've been around Lou a number of times in the past, and it never dawned on me to get any of these albums signed, because I have all of them. I have every last one of them. I don't know if they have volumes, but anyway, this one has the Mexican Keep Your Distance, Runaway I Wouldn't Change a Thing, Frisco Disco, the hand clapping song is on here, Pneumonia Theme, anyway, yeah, so big ups to Breakbeat Lou. Lou, if you ever see this, yo, the show was great, man. Congratulations, brother. All right, so if we go back to one of the Crotona Park jams that I went to, one of the DJs, this was in the Bronx, Crotona Park in the Bronx, one of the DJs that was spinning on one of my visits there was DJ Eclipse from Nonfiction. So of course I had to bring my Nonfiction 12-inch there, and Eclipse graciously signed that for me. I've met Eclipse a number of times over the years. Cool brother right there. Big ups to you, Eclipse, man. It's always a pleasure running into you. You're always a stand-up dude. Appreciate it. Now this next one is really special. So there was another party, a concert, and it was in another part, on another day, another part of Crotona Park in the Bronx. It was a part of the New York City Summer Series concerts, and this one was a hip-hop appreciation concert hosted by Dougie Fresh, one of my favorite in the whole world, and Funkmaster Flex. And appearing, or actually I should say performing at that particular show was the Cold Crush Brothers, Kenny Burke, T-Ski Valley performed, Soul Sonic Force performed, DJ Hollywood was honored and he also performed, and who else am I, Funk Flex, he DJ'd, and Dougie Fresh did, him and Flex co-hosted the whole party. I hope I didn't forget anybody, but there was all kind of other people that was just there at the party. It was great and incredible. So I want to show you this Cold Crush Brothers record, and as you can see, signatures on here. I have been taking this back and forth to New York every year for years, and a lot of these signatures I got right away. So matter of fact, right here in the middle you see Grandmaster Caz, his signature, and it even says 2010 on there. So at least as far back as 2010. Tony Tone, stand-up dude, love you Tone. He signed a lot of things for me over the years. He's right here. Below him is Easy AD. Now that was a little bit more difficult because AD doesn't sign a lot of stuff very often. So it took me a few tries before he would actually sign that, but he finally did. Peace to that brother. Right down here at the bottom, rest in peace, JDL of the Mighty Cold Crush Brothers. Me and JDL go back a little ways. Man, I've spoken about him on this channel many times. Rest in peace. I miss that brother. And so yeah, for the longest time, I only had those four signatures. Charlie Chase had moved from what I was told. He lived in Florida, and KG. I just never saw him. I've probably seen Cold Crush Brothers perform probably 4 times at least, and I've never seen KG with him. Like, never. The rest of those guys were always there, minus KG and Charlie Chase. So he was at this one, and this one was a tribute to JDL, who just recently passed, within the last year. And so he was there when I found out that he was definitely there. I was excited. I was very, very determined to get his signature. And I was also hoping that since this was a tribute to JDL, that maybe Charlie Chase would actually be there. Hold on. Okay. So I remember at some point early in the concert, because to the right of the stage there was like a area sectioned off, because they don't really have a true backstage. It's just like you gate off or rope off or whatever, put barricades around a certain area, and that becomes, the backstage. So he was in an area back there like that, and there's an area like that was set up, and I just remember I was hanging around like back there, not within the closed off area, but around the outside of the closed off area. And I just remember I was talking to a homeboy on the phone. I looked over and I was like, yo, there go Charlie Chase, I gotta go. Click. And I was like, wow, he's here. So, and I met Charlie Chase a couple other times in the past. And I just rushed over to him and I was like, man, I pulled this out and I asked him, hey man, can you sign my record? And he signed it for me. And he signed something else for me that I'm going to show you in just a second. But so I was really, really happy about that. And then after, cause the Cold Crush Brothers, they went on last. So after that was it, and the concert was over, and there was tons of people trying to, get pictures and autographs and all that kind of stuff. And let me tell you something, when KG came off the stage and back down into the back area, everybody was screaming for this dude. And I was one of them, KG, over here, KG. He finally made his way over in that section, and I asked him to sign. He didn't sign on his face. He signed way up here. You can hardly see it. Let me see if I can see that right there. That's where KG signed it. So, man, I got everybody on here. I got the entire Cold Crush Brothers on here. I'm so happy that this is completed with all of the signatures that I need on here. Very, very special piece. This was hanging on the wall. I had to take it off of the wall, out of the frame, just to take it there. Now it's going back in the frame and back up on the wall. Very special. Very, very special piece. Thank you to the entire Cold Crush Brothers crew, and rest in peace to JDL, my brother. Now, at that same party, as I mentioned, it was hosted by Funkmaster Flex and Dougie Fresh. Dougie Fresh is one of my favorites of all time, and I've been saying for years and years and years that I want to meet Dougie Fresh. I want to meet him. And there's a video that I did last year. It's been a year, last summer, where I actually met Dougie Fresh. And I'm not going to get into that. You can go watch that video. I think it's called something like I was starstruck when I met Dougie Fresh or something like that. Go check that video out. It's a really, really cool story. Anyway, the cool thing about some records, some compilations, some records that are compilations, or some records that have multiple members in them, in this case 6 members, you have the challenge of trying to get everybody, and that could last years. It certainly did for this Cold Crush album. And one of those, or I should say 2 of those compilations that I take with me all of wherever I go. If I'm traveling and I know I'm going to a certain party, I take these 2 records with me just in case. When I'm going to New York, it's an absolute must. These records are with me. And sometimes, depending on what's going on, when I go to other places, I may take them too, or I have taken them too. Those 2 records is the Wild Style soundtrack album and one of the Beat Street soundtrack albums. And those are 2 albums, obviously, where you can get a number of different people to sign those, like almost unlimited. The Wild Style record, I haven't added a signature to my Wild Style album in quite a while. I've got 30 something signatures on there. I've talked about that a number of times. Unfortunately, it won't be a part of this video because I wasn't able to add any signatures to it when I went to New York. The Beat Street record, I did take that. Now, the thing about Beat Street is, like I said, there's so many people on there, but I'm constantly reminded every time I see a clip of the movie, or every time I see or watch the movie in its entirety, I see somebody else that it hasn't crossed my mind. Oh yeah, I forgot they were in this movie. If I ever come in contact with them, I need them to sign this record. So I remember seeing the Us Girls clip, I don't know, a month or 2 ago. And you know, Dougie Fresh is in that clip if you're paying attention. And I was like, man, Dougie, you know what I mean? Get Dougie on there, because there's all kinds of, you got the main people, and then you got the people that was just in this scene or in the background, or you know what I mean, really significant people to the culture. And so it became like a desire to get Dougie Fresh on the Beat Street record. So I took that Beat Street record and I took his first record, Oh My God, to that show, and I was absolutely determined to get Dougie's autograph. I didn't think I would have access to them, because like I say, it's not like we're the Cortona Park Jams from GMC Entertainment. It's not the same setup like that. There's a lot easier access to artists with Grandmaster Caz's his party. But the summer stage, the NYC summer stage parties are a lot more difficult. Not impossible, but a lot more difficult. Anyway, long story short, when that was over and Dougie Fresh came off the stage, everybody was just on him and yelling and screaming for him to come over. And I was just like, oh, I gotta get to Dougie. I just really had my heart set on it. And the backstage area, he didn't even get close to where I was standing. And there was these 2 girls next to me, or these 2 women, and they're, Dougie, will you take a picture over here, Dougie? And I was just like, yo, I'm gonna let them, I'm gonna just stand right here next to him, and if Dougie come over here, He's signing my records. He's signing my records. So Doug didn't come over there. In fact, he started moving in the opposite direction. So I just left that area and went around, because there's a back area where people officially come and go. The people with backstage access or whatever. And sure enough, Dougie's on his way out. Busy Bee is assisting him to get from that area, to the car. And when he came from the backstage, the whole time there was just a crowd of people around him, whether it was in the backstage area or when he came out. When he came out, I was on him. I'm fighting all these other people, but I was like, so I got my records right, and I got them like this, and I got the marker too. I'll just use this marker. So and I'm just like, he's taking pictures and he's signing this and all of this stuff and talking to a million people at once, and they on him. And I literally had my records on his chest. I was like this. He's like taking pictures of people, and I got my records right here. And Busy Bee's like, hey, he was like, dude, go to the car. He was like, go catch him at the car. You got a better chance over there. We're going right there, that car right there. Just catch him. I was like, I got you, man, I got you. Busy Bee, big fan. I've gotten stuff signed by him, been around him many times over the years. And so I was like, cool. So I went and I stood over there by where the car is. And he's just making his way, and he's still got people around him, but he's making his way. And then he gets up on me, still surrounded by women and all this stuff. And then I just kind of like take the I'll use this cover. I take the my records, and I basically just put it like this, like here, put it in his chest, and like basically just hand it to him. And and then he's doing all this, and then he's like, oh. I put the marker in his hand, and he's just like, and he's talking to people, and he's signing, and then he signs the next one. And this was the result, because I gave him to him just like this. Whew. And he signs my record. This has been years. I've been wanting this. And it just says, peace, Dougie Fresh 2026. I can barely read that. And then after he signs it, I just take it from him, and he's got this other one in his this other one, and he just and he signs that one. That's him right there in the middle, in the blue. And look at all those other signatures I got. So I've talked about this record a number of times too. This is volume 1. Volume 2 has a yellow cover. Mine is still hanging on the wall. That one's covered with signatures. I got a lot of signatures on the two of them together, but just to give you a little idea, let me tell you who's on here. Pow Wow, Cool Herc, Powerful Pex, Flip Rock, Mr. Wave, Raheem, Ramo, and Pop Master Fable. All of them are on this one. So on the other one, Jazzy J, Coke LaRock, Lee from B Street, Crazy Legs, MC Shot Rock, Debbie D, LA Sunshine, Mr. Biggs, Louie Lou, and there's one more I can't even read. Oh no, there's two more. Who is that one? Chino D's on there. And there's one more I can't read from here. Anyway, so yeah, I got Dougie, man. This is crazy. This is insane, man. So, man, I there's no words that can express how happy I am about getting him on this record. And so now hoping I run into Chill Will and Barry B one of these days. If I know I'm gonna be around Dougie, I'm gonna take this record and hopefully the guys will be there with him. I have met them before at Kratuna Park, and they signed my sneaker for me. Not Dougie, just Chill Will and Barry B. I hope I run it into them again. Man, I was like fanned out when I met Barry B. I think he thought I was some kind of weirdo. I was like, oh. He's like, yeah. Anyway, so yeah. So happy about that. So happy. Now, another record that I take every year is Greatest Rap Hits, Sugar Hill Gang Greatest Rap Hits, right? Just take and the reason why I take this record with me a lot of times is there's a number of people on here that I could potentially get signatures from. Now, you got the Sequence on here, Spoonie G, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, the Funky 4+1, and the Sugar Hill Gang. Now, as far as signatures, in the past, I've gotten DJ Breakout, Shy Rock, and Little Rodney C. But at this same party, one of the people that was there backstage hanging out, walking around, was Melly Mel from the Furious 5. I've been around Mel a number of times. Cool dude. Always that dude. And he signed a number of things for me over the years. And I saw him earlier in the night, and I could have definitely had him sign, or asked him, I should say, to sign this record, but I didn't. But at the end of the concert, after I got everybody that not everybody, but after I got Dougie, and after I got KG, I was like, I saw him leaving with his people, and I was like, why not? I'll grab another signature from him. So I walked up, I was like, yo, Mel, like, can you sign my record for me? He was like, yeah. And so there he is in blue, right there. Just put Melly 2026, and his people around are like, what's that? What's that you signing? Blah blah blah. Because it was in the dark. It was like nighttime by then, and we were walking across the grass. It wasn't a whole lot of light, and then somebody shined their flashlight on their cell phone, and everybody around saw it, and everybody was like, ooh. And Mel, he just signed it for me, drew his little crown, gave it back to me. Melly Mel, is always a pleasure, my brother. Always a pleasure. I hope somehow, some way, I get to meet Kid Creole. I know he's locked down right now. Free Kid Creole. He's one of my favorite MCs of all time. I think him and Broadway were like my favorite MCs out of the Furious 5. I know Broadway came later on, but yeah, Broadway and Kid Creole are like my two favorite MCs, but from the Furious 5. But there you have it right there. I met Cheryl the Pearl one time, but I didn't have this record. Hopefully I'll be able to, run into her again. Rest in peace to the other two queens from the Sequence. And rest in peace, of course, to Big Bank Hank. Yeah, and there you have it. So that was like a bonus. And then I have just one more thing to show you. So the last party that I went to in New York before I came back home, this was such a surprise when I found out that this concert was going down. I was in a rush to get tickets. I was able to get tickets. Me and my homeboy, Dre Mays, we went down and saw Bob James live in concert at the Blue Note, New York City. Man. So, this was another one. I wanted Bob James to sign my record so bad, and I didn't know how I was going to make it happen. I was just hoping that it could happen. Well, it just so happens that a few months before that, maybe 3-4 months before that, Bob James had been playing at the Blue Note. And one of my homeboys, Jay Blast, and one of my other homeboys, Jose, they went down there. And Jose brought one of his Bob James albums to sign. I think it was number 2, if I'm not mistaken. And Jay went and got it signed. So I don't know if I should say this next part. Yeah, let me go on and say it. I don't care. So apparently the dressing room is right next to the bathroom in the Blue Note, and it's on the 2nd floor. So Jay Blast tells me, look, this is what you do. He goes, right before the concert starts, scheduled to start, just go upstairs like you're going to the bathroom. And when they come out, hit them right there. Because that's what he had done like some months before and got Jose's record signed. So that's what I did. The show started at 8. At 7:58 or 59, I got up and the place was packed. It was sold out. I got up and I went upstairs, and sure enough, I wasn't even up there for 1 minute. Heard the door open and they're coming out. So it's like Bob J. He's the only one I saw. So, but it was a couple other people with him. Ended up being this younger chick, like this Asian chick, and then this other skinny dude who looked like a character out of Alice in Wonderland or something. He had one of them crazy suits on and stuff. Cool people. But I pulled my records out and I walked up to Bob and I was like, yo, Bob. I was like, yo, can you sign my record for me? He was like, yeah. And then and then the girl, she was like, no, after the show. After the show. And I was like, but he said yes. She's like, after the show. And then the guy that was with him, he was like, what's your name? And I said, Daryl. He said, Daryl? I said, yeah. He was like, I'm going to remember your name. And I was like, all right, cool. So I was thinking, all right, I'm in there, homeboy. He said. So we watched the show. It was incredible. I mean, man, it was a great show. Anyway, show ends. I wasn't able to tell Dre what had happened because we went right from that conversation to him going on stage. He was introduced. They put him on. You know, I never been in a jazz club before, like a jazz club. So it's like super quiet in there, you know, while people are playing. And I went back to my seat, wasn't able to say to Dre what happened. So after the show, I told him. So I was like, yo, let's just chill here and let this place clear out a little bit. And then we'll go upstairs because, you know, they're expecting me. Us. So we wait a few minutes. The club starts clearing out pretty fast. We go upstairs. So apparently there was a line that had already been established upstairs. And we just got in line or whatever. And so I opened, well, when his door is open, when that door is open, you can see like clearly and like into the you know, the dressing room. So there he is sitting on a stool facing the door, and I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I just see the girl, and she kind of, we're like at the end of the line. Me and Dre are, and it was probably only like 10 people in line. And I just see the girl, she waves some people in, and I don't know who these people are. I'm thinking, I don't know who they are. Turns out they're like some of the first people in line. So she waves them in. So she was actually bringing them in 2 at a time. They go in, the door closes. A few minutes later, they come walking out. And that's when it really, really hit me. Yo, Bob James was officially set up to meet people, like a meet and greet after the show, which you hardly ever see unless you're paying some ridiculous coverage, VIP, fee or something like that. So I was just like, wow, wow, he was set up for the fans. How cool is that? So we finally go in. Dre's in back of me, so I walk in first, and I was like, wow, what a pleasure, Mr. Bob James, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, shake his hand. I was like, oh, man, I enjoy, blah, 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 blah. I got my records out already. I was like, could you please sign these? And he's like, yeah, and then, so he signs 1 and 2 for me. 1, let me say that again, and Bob James 2. And he ended up signing 2 first, because I think that was on top. And it was like, if you're familiar with this record, you know that it's the same on both sides. It's a gatefold, right? So I had it on the wrong side. And thank goodness he kind of noticed that. I mean, it wouldn't have made a super huge difference, but he noticed that, and he was like, "Oh, I think this is the other side." He probably saw this lineup, but that's on the front too. No, it's not. And he was like, "Oh, I think this is the wrong side." And he flipped it over, and he goes, "Oh, this is some weird packaging." So I was like, "I haven't seen this for a while. This is some weird looking packaging." So he flips it over. He signs it, signs my number 1, and I was just like, oh, I did it. And I also had is it the one, what was the name? The one with the traffic sign on it? I always forget the name of that album. I also had that one that I grabbed, or that belonged to my boy Diego. He was like, hey, take this, see if you can get it signed for me. So he signed that one too. So I got 3 records signed, and one of them was Diego's for Vital Therapy, his record shop. Anyway, I was so still caught up in the mindset of getting this autograph, and that being so important to me, that I thanked him again. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. And I got out of there. And if I just had been like not so nervous or like wound up or excited, all this adrenaline running through me, then I would have been like, hey, can I get a picture? But I didn't get a picture with Bob James, and I could have, like, super easy. I got out of there. Dre was in there for a little while. And so he comes out and he explains all this to me. And Dre took 1, 2, 3, and 4. All 4 of those albums. He got all of them signed. And then Dre, who's a DJ and a turntablist, he starts telling Bob James about when he competed in the DMC battle, that part of his routine was some Bob James records. And he pulled out the 2 records that he used in his routine that had like the DJ marks all over them. And he showed them to Bob James, like, look, see, these are the 2 records of yours that I used to compete in this battle. And he told me that the young lady that was like, hey, you want to take some pictures? And he was like, yeah, and he got all these pictures with him and Bob James, and just broke down the whole thing. It was a fabulous night and an incredible ending to my summer trip to New York City. That's how my trip ended. And then the next day, the next evening, I flew home. So yes, those are the autographs as far as album covers that I was able to get on this 2026 trip to New York City. Pretty cool, huh? So, hope I wasn't too long-winded on there, but I had to share that with you guys. And yeah, I'll be back soon with another some kind of video soon, right here on Daryl D TV. Thanks for hanging out. Did I say that right? Thanks for hanging out. Peace and love.